when my family arrived in Vienna, I thought, gosh, this is wonderful. Now we're back together. This will lift my spirits. But then I had a medical issue, and I had developed a very severe rash on both of my feet. And this red rash was now working its way from my toes, onto my feet, onto my ankles, and now up my legs. It was kind of creeping. In Vietnam, this was called jungle rot. And we knew, and it happened there. It was why you're always trying to keep your feet dry, where you didn't wear socks with your combat boots. But how could it be happening in Austria, in Vienna, in time when it's cold? So I was taken to the hospital by the American nurse from the U.S. Embassy that provided support to all the American diplomats, and brought me over on a Saturday morning to a hospital that looked like it had been built around the time of Sigmund Freud and hadn't been improved much since then. But the doctors were pretty competent and well-trained, and they said, what you have is you had a fungal infection, like athlete's foot fungus, on your toes, but what happened is it developed a bacterial infection on top of it. And now that combination is spreading quite virulently up your legs. So we have to deal with it. We're going to put you in the hospital, and we're going to give you massive doses of antibiotics, penicillin, and to defeat the bacterial infection. And once that's gone, then we can treat the fungus infection. So, all right, and they check me into the hospital, take me up to a room. The nurse is there and is watching as they hook me up with an IV in my arm and big jar of penicillin solution dripping into my arm. And she's getting set to leave. And as she's at the door and about to disappear, said, I'll be back on Monday to see anything else you need before I go. And I said, oh, is my arm starting to feel cold? Is that supposed to happen? And then there's this incredible explosion of anaphylactic shock hitting me. And if you can imagine this, suddenly all my life-sustaining support systems, my heart starts racing and starting and stopping. My breathing, I'm involuntarily breathing, stopping, and my body starts flailing up in the air and back off the bed. And I have these premonitions of death. I see that my family, I'm never going to see my wife, my two boys ever again. I start crying and my heart's racing. Everyone is screaming. Now, it was about 12:30 p.m. when this happened. In Austria, at noon on Saturday, everything closes and almost everyone goes home. So all the doctors had left. They left one resident, this young Austrian doctor who had, not very much experience, and the American nurses there, and thank goodness there were several Filipina nurses who were highly trained and working abroad. They come running over, they pull the penicillin out of my arm, and they grab cortisone and start injecting it into me. And slowly I begin to subside, and the flailing goes down, and my heart rate comes back, and my breathing becomes less labored. And I'm laying there on the bed. The American nurse is next to me, and she said, oh my gosh, I thought we were going to lose you. And I said, yes, I thought I was about to die. And I said, but let me tell you what sustained me. And I said, in the lobby of the State Department, there are these two large black marble pillars, plaques, on which are engraved in gold the names of every diplomat who has died abroad in the service of our country since the Republic was created in 1776. And there's your name, the date, the place, and what you died of. Barbary pirates, lost at sea, War of 1812, yellow fever in Panama, up through terrorism and the Vietnam War. And I imagine this ceremony with the Secretary of State and all my friends and colleagues, my widow dressed in black with my children, and they unveiled my name, Kenneth Quinn, Vienna, 1982, athlete's foot. And people would be looking at it, and then suddenly someone would snigger a little bit, and then somebody else, and then a few people would start laughing, and soon the Secretary of State would be laughing, my widow will be laughing, all of my colleagues will be laughing, tears will be running down their face. I said, it gave me the will to hold on and endure through this and not let it happen. And she said, where did you get this gallows humor from? I don't know, but it's a true story. It's what I really thought on this day when death seemed imminent.